Greetings, YouTube. Years ago, I came up with an idea for a post-apocalyptic setting, not for a full campaign, but a large adventure arc, so to speak. And I never got to use it. So I thought today I'd throw it out there and see if somebody else can come up with an idea for it, or they can find some use out of it, because, you know, I'm probably never going to run it myself. So the basic idea starts in the near future. We're currently trying rather desperately to stay within a 2-degree increase of temperature in the world. We're probably not going to make it, and in my scenario, we don't. So the ice caps continue to melt, and the ocean levels begin to rise. Now realize that we're never going to get to a Waterworld scenario. Waterworld is a fantasy film. It bears no resemblance to reality in any way, shape, or form. Even if every single block of ice on the planet melts, the world's oceans will raise about 200 meters, which is a lot. The coasts are gone as we know them. And we'd lose, you know, 15, 20% or more of our current land. But that's it. But not that much melts in this scenario. But enough of it melts that lots of low-lying places are evacuated. Not just because they themselves are being threatened by the water directly, but after a certain point, the infrastructure can't support even the areas that remain above water. They're just, your roads are being washed out, your power lines, things like that. So at some time in the latter part of this century, the end of the 21st century, the water levels have risen high enough that huge sections of Florida are abandoned. But there's a significant capital investment in the entertainment industry in Florida. So in an effort to keep that investment viable, Walt Disney begins to buy up lots of things and build dikes. Lots of dikes. They buy up Universal Studios, they buy up a number of other entertainment areas, and they begin to build dikes around them all. This continues. The waters keep coming up, Disney keeps buying up things they can lay their hands on cheap, and they keep building dikes. Eventually, the technology gets to the point where that Disney can actually put a covering on this to completely seal it from the outside world. Now, Disney has always been about a sanitized version of the universe. It is a very clean version of the universe. It is a version of the universe that bears very little to the real world. It gets worse once they completely seal themselves off from everything, where there is no connection whatsoever with the outside world except through their airports, the rail system they build to connect it to the inland cities that are still above water, and of course data transfer. But even with the data coming in, slowly over time, the people living inside the dome, and it becomes known as Lost Disney, become insular. They start thinking more and more of themselves as the sole entity in the world, and they think less and less of the outside. The tourists that come in on a regular basis begin to seem very alien to them. Then, of course, the world ends. In any way that you have chosen to end the world. One of my favorites was always nanotechnology gone crazy. Another one I used was a very large EMP blast. In fact, someone figured out how to take a device, fire it into the sun, and use the sun as an amplifier to take a large EMP blast and turn it into an EMP blast that would flood the entire system in 360 degrees. Anything not militarily shielded or lucky enough to be behind the shadow of a planet or something was fried. So you can figure out whichever scenario you want, nanotechnology, my EMP blast scenario, whatever you feel like. But what happens is that Lost Disney at this point is an actual self-contained city. There is nothing from the outside that they want for. They grow their own food, they have their own water filtration systems, they take care of their own power through fusion, they have their own networks and their own television stations that are just for the people inside that city. So, what happens? Do they keep rolling? Does Lost Disney become a time capsule, frozen, keeping things alive? And what is it like in there? Is that sanitized Disney World the only thing left? And do the people begin to forget that there's anything outside those walls and begin to buy in to the Disney version of reality? Or, when the PCs finally show up there, is it empty? Are there no people left at all? And why are there no people left at all? What is left? Or has the place devolved into actual chaos and is run by different factions of mutants? Or is it pure strains that have broken down into primitive living with different clans and gangs and things, all dividing up what resources still function? I mean, it's really open to the GM what he does with it, but I really wanted to use this idea. I was going to use something combination of society breaks down, and there were some mutants. There was going to be some leakage from the fusion power plant, and some chemical poisonings that had turned some of the residents into mutants, and some of the animals and plants into mutants. I was kind of looking for a Starship Warden concept, but right here on Earth. But again, I never got to use it for anything, so I'm just kind of throwing it out there and hoping that somebody else can. So, tell me, what would you do with Lost Disney?